By gradually and progressively overloading your muscles to work harder and harder in your workouts over time, you'll subject them to the stimulus that they need to grow and get stronger. The thing is, this doesn't always mean lifting bigger and bigger weights, and it doesn't always mean adding more and more reps to each set. If progressive overload was really that simple, then every single person who spent a decade or so in the gym would have a 500-pound bench press and a 750-pound deadlift, or we'd all be doing 100 rep sets for every lift, since every workout we'd just add on another rep and just go a little bit heavier. Progressive overload works differently. At some point in your training journey, no matter how hard you try, you're no longer going to be able to just keep adding weight to every single workout. And over years and years of training, you'll wind up hitting that wall multiple times on multiple exercises. All exercises have a different load progression, if you will. On some lifts, such as bench presses and squats, you'll find that you're able to add weight a few times a year, in part because these lifts recruit large muscle groups that can really let you move some weight. On other lifts, such as dumbbell curls or skull crushers, once you reach a certain level of experience in the gym, you're rarely going to be able to add weight because these isolation style moves target fewer muscles, and when you go too heavy, you only wind up breaking form or using other muscle groups than what you're really trying to attack. It all makes it really hard to continually practice progressive overload in terms of adding weight or in terms of adding reps. But that's only because of the big misconception around progressive overload, and that is that it only works with weight. The truth is, we can manipulate several variables in our training, and understanding how to adjust these can keep you progressing even when you can no longer pile on plates. So if you're struggling to go heavier in your training, then start playing with these 3 principles so that we can keep progressive overload moving in smart ways. Your first option is time under tension. One of the most underrated ways to create progressive overload in a routine is to add a bit more time under tension to each set. During any rep of any exercise, your target muscles are under tension as they lower and lift the load, and the truth is, it's this mechanical tension that sets the stage for growth. If you're having trouble adding weight to a set, then try creating situations that allow you to increase the time under tension. There are 2 ways to do this. First off, you can play with the tempo of every single rep. During a standard rep of bench press, for example, you may naturally spend 1 second lowering the weight to your chest, then another 1 to 2 seconds pressing it upwards. Over 8 reps, that winds up accruing maybe 16 to 20 seconds of time under tension for your chest, tris, and shoulders on every single set. So if you can't go heavier, try tweaking the lowering portion of the lift. Focus on spending 3 seconds lowering the weight, then your normal press upwards. That'll result in 4 to 5 seconds per rep of time under tension, and over 8 reps, that winds up being 32 to 40 total seconds. So we've made the set longer, and that's going to help you push and continue to grow. Another way to increase time under tension is to have a partner help you with what's called a forced rep, or 2, after you've hit your limit. So you might do your regular 8 reps of presses, then when you can no longer do any more of those, with a partner spotting you, lower the load very slowly, aiming to take 4 to 5 seconds to do this. Have your partner then lift the bar up off your chest when you can't drive it up. Repeat this 1 more time, and you've added 10 seconds of work to your set. Both of these approaches can set the stage for gains, in part because of the speed at which heavy reps occur. As you add more weight to your bench press, the load gradually moves more and more slowly because it's heavier and harder for your body to press it up. By progressively increasing your time under tension during each set, you're readying your body for that challenge at the tougher loads you might be struggling with. Another approach you can take is we can slash your rest times. During a normal set of bench presses, for example, you're probably going to rest anywhere from 90 seconds to 2 minutes, but if you're struggling to add weight, maybe we're going to cut that all the way down to 60 or even 75 seconds. By moving more quickly in between sets, you're subtly training your body to battle through lifts with increasingly limited recovery time. And that will gradually feed your body's ability to squeeze out an extra rep here or there at the end of your regular set with that limited recovery. Use this approach with care though. Don't expect to thrive if you're instantly cutting your rest periods from say 120 seconds all the way to 15 seconds. You never want to take more than 20 seconds off your rest periods in any given week. Your last option is we can increase the total load that we're moving for an entire workout. And this is all about rethinking how you view your loads in general. We generally think only in reps and sets, but you can also choose to view the loads you're working with in terms of total weight lifted per exercise. Let's go back to the bench press example. Let's say you're doing 3 sets of 135 pounds 8 times. You've moved a total of 3,240 pounds during that entire set. Now, if you're struggling to add more weight or reps to your workload, you can simply think about adding another set on. Sure, you'll be weaker by the time you get to the set, but let's say you just do an extra 4 reps next week on the bench press. By the end of your bench pressing, you've now moved 3,780 pounds. You want to use this approach sparingly because if you keep using it, you're just never going to leave the gym because you're going to pile on set after set after set. But just adding a little bit of extra work, just adding one set of say 4 to 6 reps, can help you set the stage for gains later. There are some other more varied approaches you can still take to progressive overload beyond these 3. For example, you can take a lift and change the execution. So we can go from a flat bench to say a low incline press, and now we're gonna get a little bit more range of motion. Or you can change the tools you're working with, say going from the barbell to dumbbells, and then if you're moving the same load, you have more stability demands, so that's another way you can change things up and still continue to build muscle and strength even when you can't lift heavier. And the key overall to progressive overload is if you're struggling to add weight, you just want to pick one of these approaches and you want to stick with it. You've got to give it 3 to 4 weeks so that you can give your body and your mind a chance to understand the new barrier. Do not expect instant results after one session with the new approach. Big picture, you have a lot of options to coax muscle and strength out of your body, and it's not always going to be about weight. So think about taking a cerebral approach to your training. Don't always add weight, don't always add reps, and use these approaches, and in the long term, you'll continue to gain muscle and strength, and you'll continue to get all the gains that you're chasing.